15 years ago, Tom and I went on a permaculture design course on the Isle of Man, and we learned lots of useful things there. And one thing that they mentioned to us during this course was the importance of having a sacred space, somewhere that was your own place where you could go and just be at peace, sit in the present, maybe just to have a cup of tea or meditate or pray, but just somewhere that was very special to you, that you could sort of call your own space and that you could regularly visit. And so that's something that I took on from that course. And here on our land here, I have a space which I think of as my sacred space. And it's just a bench at the end of our track, but I'm going to show you it and suggest the idea that you might like to do that yourself. It doesn't have to be outside necessarily, although I particularly like it outside, but it could just be a little part of your room, a corner of a room even. It could just be a cushion that you place in a certain area, and that's somewhere that you always go and sit and contemplate. You might like to make it more beautiful. You might like to listen to music there. You've probably already got that kind of place in your house. There's probably somewhere that you actually prefer to sit, that you particularly like. Maybe you like the view out of the window, or you just feel protected and safe in a certain spot in your home. So have a little think about it and see if there's somewhere that you'd like to create that kind of place for. It doesn't have to be religious at all. It's just special to you. It's a special, nourishing, safe spot that you can go to when you feel you need to. And that's just part of building your support network. Just little things like this can really help you and support you through difficult times, and also make life better through the good times as well. Okay, so I'll show you my space. Let's go have a look. Hi. So you can probably just see the house behind me, and I'm going to show you my sacred space. Okay, that sounds very grand, sacred space, but it's just a nice space to be, somewhere that's special to me and somewhere I like to go to be on my own sometimes with somebody else, have a cup of tea. I thought I'd share that with you. So we'll go on a little walk. So the house is behind me, there's a track in front. I'll see if I can video that journey. See a bit more of our land as well and where we are. See some of the messy bits too. But I'll be moving the rest of that hay bale later in the week. It's a bit hot today for that. Okay, so here. And there's a little grassy track here. So to get to my space, I'm going to go into the wooded part of our garden, and we go along this path, and there's a lot of oak trees at the side. These are very young oaks, but they're actually, I suppose they're about 10 years old now, so quite slow growing, but they're getting bigger, and they're creating this rather nice area here. So they're growing overhead as well. And we're just going to follow this down to my space. And here's a little bench, very rustic, made out of a couple of old chairs and a couple of old planks as well. But this is right in the middle of my space where I like to sit. Let's give you an idea. There. So at the end of that little track that we've approached by. That's a very nice spot to be in. It's completely surrounded by the trees and nature. And I've deliberately not planted anything else here. I've just left it as it is. So this is my space. And like I say, I'm surrounded by these trees with big oaks behind me, a cherry tree in front, there's a chestnut over there. It's very peaceful. And what I find when I come and sit here is that for the first few minutes it's fairly quiet, and then after that the birds start to sing again and nature just comes back to how it was before. They reckon it takes about 20 minutes for a woodland or a place in nature to return to how it was before you arrived. So if you get the chance to go somewhere like sit in a wood, spend half an hour there, because then you'll really see how it was. If you're just very quiet, the birds come a lot closer. Sometimes when I'm sitting here I see deer. There's a lot of deer in our sort of woods around here, so, and they're just beautiful to see. It always feels really special when you see a deer. They're just so gentle and they just appear really quietly. Sometimes you hear a bit of rustling and then one will appear. And I'm sure they're all around us here and much more aware of us than we are of them most of the time. So yeah, having your own space, your sacred space. And I'll use that word sacred because it's not a word we use that often, and yet it just means very special to me. That's what it means. Protected space, somewhere that's safe to be, that's special to you. For me, I've got probably several spaces on our land that I really like, but this is my favourite. This is where I really like to be. Sometimes I come here in the morning and meditate if it's a nice day. So I'm here much more in summer than I am in the winter, that's for sure. And I think spaces take on something of us. If you spend a lot of time somewhere, just quietly sitting in nature and maybe meditating, praying, or just being there, just actually being present, then I think the space itself takes on a different feel as well. It's like we are giving something to the space as well as the space giving something to us, and that's very special. But mainly, I wanted to mention it because I think it's just another of those little support systems that you can create. It doesn't have to be complicated, but just something that's special for you, and you're creating that area where you're not disturbed or where you can go to. But it can be a very nice thing to do. Okay, enjoy and have a good week. If you like these videos, there's a couple more here. Subscribe, ring the bell if you want to be notified of when I produce the videos. Okay, thank you. Bye.